Nothing's gonna ever keep it down.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Everything is functional. Good morning. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome, Big J. Back off the power play. We are at full strength. It feels pretty good. How are you doing, buddy? You all right?
Yeah.
I know you did some best of, so that was smart and nice and good. So it took some of the pressure off, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, the work stuff was all right.
Oh, okay. Well, how personally you're in shambles?
Here's what's happened. The last couple years, this has really hit me hard. Post-holiday depression.
Really?
Yeah. Like, big time. Like, this last week has been awful. Just bad. Super depressed.
Why?
No,
you know why?
No.
Like, I mean, is it any particular reason?
Now I'm going to have to dig in or something. I don't know. It's a combination of things, but yeah, not happy about it, but I'm so glad you're back.
Why?
I'm so glad. I don't know. I miss my friend this whole
that's
time.
Nice. We did get to hang out a little bit exponentially.
Yeah, it was fun.
It wasn't. We did some extracurricular stuff, so that was cool. But it is good to be back. I feel refreshed. I knew I was going to feel this feeling, but God dang it, did I hate when the alarm went off this morning. I was upset. So upset.
I was the same way last night. I was like, oh, God.
And I never sleep well the day before coming back from vacation because there's all these fears going, okay, it's been a while since I had to get up this early. Will I remember? Will I just instinctively hit the snooze button and just move on with my life?
How to live.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I live some sort of normal schedule, but alas, I got up and I slept like garbage last night, of course. But here we are, Big J, and I'm sure you have a list of the things you talked about over the last 2 weeks so I don't accidentally repeat them.
There was hardly anything. Wonderful. I mean, it was a lot of best.
You went over the Broncos stuff, right? We don't have to cover any of that.
Yeah, no, tragic.
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was a real bummer.
I talked about how you were spot on as usual in your sports.
It is infuriating to watch this stuff happen. It sucks all the fun out of the game. Like in my personal opinion, the playoff is great, but it was my same problem with when it was bowl season and the BCS and all this kind of stuff. You don't get a true reflection of a team that got somebody someplace when you give them 6 weeks and 5 weeks off. Yes, you can talk all you want about the preparation. That's all BS when every muscle in your body has completely cooled down and you are not
even
running
2 weeks.
Yes, it's just too. Well, you see a lot of it. It happens in the NFL too, to a lesser extent because these aren't months away from the season. But sometimes teams that have that bye, you think it's an advantage, but they come out of the gate super slow.
Yep.
And the other team has that momentum from the week before its victory. And it wasn't a surprise to me at all that every single lower seed has won so far. It's because it's the hotter team that was coming off of playing and victorious and had an idea of what this stage was. And it's very predictable, and unfortunately, the college football playoff is not a reflection of probably who the national champion should be, period. It's just not. And it'll never get closer. So, I mean, I'll bitch about this till the end of time because there's too much money wrapped up in, and the schedule is set with the way it was going to go. It'll never, ever change in our lifetime, but it's just a bummer to find out that, all this stuff isn't really real anyway. But it's not real. It is sad to see. That's my rant. It's over. I don't know why I talked about it when you brought it up already. But today on the show, we have an opportunity for you to win things from us. We're going to check in with Mrs. Kyler this morning. Is that all right?
Yeah.
We will see how it's going, although Big J's already said he's depressed, so it's probably just a real sad weekend grade.
We haven't discussed it, so it should be interesting because a lot of stuff happened, obviously, and we'll see what she picks apart.
All right. So we'll have a chance to do that this morning as well. Should be a good Monday, but we also play some music. Well, let's do it. The Foo Fighters kicking things off on the morning after on the X.
Spanning the globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Terrible news to you Idaho Power subscribers. Your power bill's going up. Well, not you, Big J, because you have solar as you continue to push your liberal agenda on this show.
Paid off solar.
Idaho regulators approved a smaller than requested rate increase for the Idaho Power Company last week. 3.73% base revenue increase. They wanted to increase their rate 7.31%, but they got about halfway there. And so your power bill is about to go up a little bit. The Idaho Public Utilities Commission authorized them to collect an additional $50 million from customers in annual revenue this year. That's roughly half of what the company sought for its May 31st application. The rate increase was needed to help fund $1 billion in planned system improvements for 2024. They cited an increased customer demand and the need to maintain a safe and reliable electric system as the reasons. And then we went ahead and said, take half of what you asked us for. So if we have power problems, it could be that. But the Idaho Public Utilities Commission did let them know that, of course, they got a lot of public comments on this particular case, almost all of them opposing a kind of a rate hike from customers. So that's going to happen. Nobody wants their power bill to go up.
I would love to pay more. That would be great.
But that being said, all you do, I mean, can you imagine if we had brownouts or blackouts or we have use of the grid and our power didn't work? What would make us more angry? Us paying, $3 more on our bill a month or us having power on a regular basis? You make the call, Big J. Go ahead. I'll wait.
What would make us more angry?
No, what would you rather have?
I'd rather have power working properly.
There you go. I'm guessing if we put it down to those two options, it would be the other way around as well. We all just want to clutch our pearls when anybody asks for more money, and that's the way it works. Well, Big J, Gerard Mayo didn't get much of a chance, but he didn't do very well with the Patriots team. He was fired Sunday. Rarely it happened less than 90 minutes after the game. The Patriots, a game they won, by the way.
Hey, let's be honest here. This whole thing was weird with him being anointed the coach.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. He was, I don't know, unless they had some sort of amazing season and went to the playoffs, he was probably going to be fired from the very beginning.
It felt like one of those things where it was like, let's make the split from Belichick look amicable if we let him pick the guy that succeeds him. And he did that. They appeased Bill Belichick. They gave Mayo his year. And then I also believe he probably got marching orders to lose that game yesterday so that the Patriots would secure the number one pick. And the Patriots went out and won, and so he was fired from defying the king or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that probably was the nail in his
several
coffin.
different situations.
I like that story.
None of them were him coming out not being fired.
That is correct. They'll probably go with Vrabel because of the history with that gentleman in the organization, but who knows which route they go.
Also, a good coach.
Yeah, not bad. He wasn't very much in demand last year, but you never know where he goes. Let's go through the gauntlet, Big J. It is Black Monday. Lots of coaches will be fired. Let's see who you think makes the cut. Do you think the Jets will be looking for a new guy from the scratch? Okay, so there's 2 jobs open now currently, both of them in the AFC East. Do you fire Stefanski in Cleveland after a 3-14 year?
I mean, they just fired his OC and everybody else. Why they didn't fire him, I don't understand.
Because he's a really good coach. I think people believe
he's
that.
won a couple best coaches of the year things, so no.
Okay.
Dable, gone, right?
Who?
Or Dable, the Giants.
Well, we'll get there. Hang on.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump.
Does Doug Peterson go in Jacksonville?
Yes.
Okay. You don't fire the Titans guy after 1 year, right?
Probably.
Callahan? You do?
I don't know.
Because they now have the number 1 pick. I don't know if you can fire somebody because I don't think it's his fault the Titans are terrible. They are a bad team. Raiders move on from Pierce?
Probably.
You think so? Okay. So far everybody's fired. You said Dable's gone in New York.
Oh, yeah. Better
McCarthy gone in Dallas?
Who knows? Who knows? Should be.
But
probably
do you
won't
think,
be.
You don't
probably
think
won't be. No.
Okay.
Jerry Jones effect.
Bears fire their coach no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Dennis Allen gone after in New Orleans after 5-12
Oh,
year?
yeah.
You think so?
They're terrible.
They are bad. But again, I don't know if it's his fault.
Yes, he's the coach. He could definitely. He has talent on that team. They suck.
Everybody got hurt this year, though. You got to take that into account. And sometimes
everybody
owners will.
Got hurt.
And I know your feelings on it, but what do you think will happen? Will the 49ers part ways with Shanahan?
Oh no, they already said they're both coming back.
All
Lynch and Shanahan.
Why didn't they get it? But I mean, and you would prefer it if he was gone, correct?
No, I would prefer that they had never let go Jim Harbaugh. So.
Well, yeah, but that obviously.
I wouldn't tell me who would be better than Shanahan at this point. It'd be hard pressed to find somebody.
All right, I'm just asking. Hey, Mufasa was the number 1 movie of the weekend, $23.8 million. Global total, $476 million. Pretty good. 10th top grossing movie of the year. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was in second place, $21 million. Nosferatu third with $13 million. Moana 2 and Wicked rounded out the top 5. Disney, Big J, once again, basically middle fingers up to everybody. With the box office returns, every family movie they put out is making money for them currently. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your first round of important stuff. It is the X Rocks. That is Breaking Benjamin and Awaken here on the morning after with Nick and Big J. It is officially the first full week of the new year, Big J. Did you do anything special for New Year's Eve?
Yeah, no.
Did you make it to midnight?
No, of course not.
No?
I haven't. The only time I make it to midnight is if the kids are out partying and I need to go pick them up.
Sure, when you're the DD, you have to take care of things.
But, not this year, no sir.
So we've talked before about being a resolution guy. Are you a New Year, New You kind of guy? Do you have those kind of mental mind changes?
Well, no goals.
Sure.
Setting goals.
Yeah,
but
but-
I mean that's the same as a it's the same as a resolution, right? A goal and a resolution, aren't they the same?
It depends, because a goal can be something that you, I believe, have striven for a long period of time and want to continue. Resolution is more like, I want to change this about myself. I think goals, yes, a resolution, all resolutions could be a goal. Not all goals could be a resolution.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If we're talking this in SAT form, it doesn't go both ways. But there are a lot of people that have that kind of feeling. In fact, up to 50% of Americans, Big J, say they want to hit 2025 with a new job at some case and point during this particular year, which is a very high percentage of people. But I suppose there's nothing wrong with wanting a little bit more, other than the fact that I think once you're out there long enough, you may realize that the grass isn't always greener. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Not to say whatever you're doing you can't upgrade from or you deserve to upgrade from. I'm just saying sometimes you're like, wow, this will be a dream gig. And then you get there and you go, Mayday, what have I done? My God. But it could mean that it's job interview time, Big J. So we're going to go through some of the most common questions asked by hiring managers as we head into 2025. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is according to kickresume.com. Question number 1, Big J, give me an idea or tell me a story about how you demonstrated a skill or solved a problem where you worked together to use that particular skill to make that happen.
Oh, you want me to answer this question?
Let's go. Might as well give it a test run.
This last year, I did none of that.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, how about
Don't hire me.
another part of your career where that in which your problem-solving skills came to the horizon and you saved the day, I guess?
I had to come up with an idea to try to, make some money. So we came up with a thing called the Fatchler.
We're going back 17 years, huh?
That's the last time. Yeah.
All right.
Usually people have a chance to think about this stuff before they're asked a question.
Listen, I don't have time. I'm a hiring manager on the move. How about this? Give me a list of some of your accomplishments, Big J. That's the second most common asked question.
Number 1, in every day part I've ever been in.
Nice. Well done.
That's it.
Oh, great. The question number 3, give me some ideas of some of your mistakes and failures.
Oh, it's constant. That's a long...
You are not performing well in this interviet particularly.
I wasn't prepared for an interview.
Yeah, no, you ain't kidding. But how did it go when you were prepared?
I was fairly depressed this last week.
Turns out if you're looking for a job that's hiring, Amazon is always doing that, followed by Deolate, which is like a financial services, and Accenture. Those are the 3 top hiring companies in the United States of America. So if you're looking for a good gig and a better gig, best of luck to you in 2025. Morning After with Nick and Big J. What was Big J's weekend grade? We will find out next on the X. That is coming undone here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. We always try to ask Big J how his weekend is, and the answer is always pretty good. Had a really good weekend, yeah. And we let him get away with that for about 17 years on this show, and then we realized he's just a plain unreliable narrator. When somebody else is factored into the equation, turns out sometimes, not all the time to his credit,
Go to hell.
but sometimes Big J's weekend wasn't good at all, according to other people, which is why on Mondays we bring in Kylie, who has been married to Big J for several years, and with him even longer than that, and she gives us the real lowdown on how Big J's weekend was. Good morning, Kylie. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Doing good.
Always. We're very happy that you got up early to spend some time on the show. So he didn't really get into specifics, but Big J said he did have a good weekend, but then he also said he didn't really talk to you about how his weekend actually was. Was it okay? How did he do?
He did good. He got some tools for outside. He's obsessed with Ryobi, so he did do yard work.
Okay.
He got this new sucker vacuum thing that he's obsessed with, and he was out there and the dogs were going crazy, that he loves.
Very nice.
But we had a tent situation in our backyard that really made our marriage I think it made it stronger, but it was tense there for a while. Has he told you about the rabbits in the
No,
neighborhood?
I haven't said anything because I wanted this to be a surprise.
Last I heard was there were snakes near your house. That was the last animal experience I remember out in Middleton.
So about 2 streets over, a lady breeds rabbits. And for food, so they're very large rabbits. And some of them got out last year.
And disconcerting.
And she's been trying to catch them.
You've been trying to catch them.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So these rabbits escaped their house.
Uh-huh.
And they are, they're crapping all over the neighborhood.
Okay.
And so when the dogs go for a walk, they try to eat the rabbit poop. And we'll see them. And so adding it to the regular, it's weird seeing a bunny rabbit hopping around a neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
I've told you this before. Mason is terrified of rabbits. It's an unhealthy, irrational fear. She can't do anything about it.
You did tell me there was a rabbit. I didn't know they was escaped rabbits from a breeder. Got it.
Yes, okay. Escaped. And so they've been coming very close to the house.
Too close for your family.
Very close to the house. Okay. And then it all came to a head 2 weekends ago. Right?
No, it was last weekend.
Oh,
it was just like I just wanted to pick up the carrier with the pet in it again.
It was not this weekend. It was the weekend previous.
Okay. Well, it was in our backyard, and the dogs are going crazy. Somehow we're like, how could it get in our locked backyard? And we go out there, and it runs back under it, dug a little hole under our fence by the gate. And unbelievable. Mason's in a panic, so I'm like, we're going out there. And then it leaves. It goes to the neighbor's house. And then it comes right back. And so I'm like, get out there, put a box in front of the gate so they can't get out. And then we have these metal things for the dogs that, he's fallen over on before.
When I fell. Remember when I went boom, Nick?
Yeah.
That was why.
Yeah. So we're out there and we're each running through the backyard trying to block this super fast, large rabbit off. And he's like, I told you to block it. And we're yelling at each other. And we're getting it. And we finally get it caged. And we're we're out of breath. We're chasing this thing around the yard.
Poor rabbit's out of breath.
Fast. Yeah. And then we get it caged and, get blocked off. And he starts yelling. He's like, don't touch it. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I don't want her to get rabies.
I had to pick it up. It's whipping his little feet. He's in a panic. I said, get the cat carrier right now. We dump it in there. I called the lady. I said, we found your rabbit. We're bringing it back to you. And it was a very intense, high heart rate moment.
I'm sure.
But I said that was, it was questionable, our marriage. We were yelling at each other back there. I can't even imagine what people thought they heard. But we were chasing a rabbit. So it was intense.
And you caught it, which is very impressive as well.
She was the hero here. That's for sure.
Well, very good job. See, you can work together, Big J. You're always telling me you can't. You can work together.
I've never said that to you.
And it's working out really, really well. I'm very happy. Did you do anything good, bad, or indifferent that would affect the grade other than that, Kylie?
No, those are the only 2 things.
Very
a lot
nice.
of chores. He did do a lot of chores.
Well, and then at the same time, we've got almost all of Christmas down and put away now, Nick.
Yeah,
we've got 4 or 5 of the lights that we hang up on the outside of the house are still up because they're 30 feet high.
Yeah, but that's going to stay there. You're not going to get up there and take those down.
I know. I've been waiting for someone to help us out there.
Is this your call on the radio for assistance?
No, we have someone who can assist, but they were busy yesterday.
Well, I'm sure very soon it'll get done. Kylie, we need a grade. How did Big J do overall?
B.
Nice. Very nice. For Bunny. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Kylie, thank you very much
of the Lepus over there
for coming on and talking about Big J's weekend. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Have a good
Love
day.
Ya.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. We got some important stuff. It's next on the X Rocks.
Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Hope you like being sick, pal.
No, I don't.
Because virus cases are spiking nationwide during the winter months. We are having a pretty significantly bad run of things flu-wise currently. There is a respiratory flu going around, and there's also a stomach flu going around that's straight up kicking people's asses, Big J. You factor in COVID-19 making a rebound, of course, as it tends to do around this time of year. RSV cases have been linked to a extraordinary rise in emergency room visits. This is no BS, Big J. I was driving by the urgent care right there on the corner of 10 Mile and Cherry just yesterday around 6 o'clock, it was like an In-N-Out. There were so many people in the parking lot. I was like, oh no, everybody must be feeling like crap. I know like 3 people currently that have the flu. That's not great. And so it's definitely kicking people's butts. So keep that in mind right now. The amount of acute respiratory illnesses causing people to seek healthcare is at a really high level currently, and that's nationwide. There have been an estimated 5.2 million illnesses, about 63,000 hospitalizations, and Big J, only 3,000 deaths this flu season so far. Still plenty more to go. Let's get that number up, shall we?
No.
Go to work sick, everybody. We're doing it anyway. And so, it definitely does suck. Hopefully you don't get it. Take your medications, Big J. Take your vitamins. Make sure you are keeping yourself as healthy as you can. Will you do me that favor?
Amen, yes.
Thank you.
I'm getting nervous about it. I got to travel later this month.
Yeah, you better watch out. Mask up, pal. Let everybody make fun of you.
No problem.
Big J, the wild card weekend schedule is set. We have ourselves 6 games on the schedule. Let's run it down and you tell me who's going to win, all right?
All right, let's do it.
First up on Saturday, first game of the weekend, Chargers, Texans at Houston. Chargers favored by 3. What you got, Big J?
Chargers.
You think they'll win handily?
Yeah.
All right. Second game of the weekend on Saturday is Pittsburgh-Baltimore, the nightcap. Steelers at the Ravens. Baltimore almost 10-point favorites in this one. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to go Baltimore. Pittsburgh has been through it, man.
Then on Sunday,
4-game stretch.
Broncos at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by almost 10.
I'm going to go upset here. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos.
Oh, really? Okay. We will see if that comes to fruition. Second game of Sunday, Packers at the Eagles, 2:30 on Fox. Philly by 5.5.
What's Jordan Love's status? He left that game, so
who knows? He hasn't looked great when he's been there, save for 2 games.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Eagles here.
That's my lock of the weekend. I love my Green Bay Packers. They're just too young and undisciplined, and you can't win backing into the playoffs. And they have looked terrible these last 2 games. I think Philadelphia. Give me Philadelphia by, I'm going to say they win by probably 2 touchdowns.
Jeez.
I think they hang 40 on the Packers at least. I think Saquon goes nuts and Hurts throws for more than 300. It's going to be a bloodbath. I love my Packers, but this is the worst possible matchup they could get. The Washington at Tampa Bay, Big J. The Buccaneers are favored by 3.5 in that one.
I'm going to go with Tampa.
All right. And then finally, Vikings at Rams. The Minnesota favored by 2.5 on the road.
I'm going to go with Vikings.
They didn't look great last night, though, did they?
Yeah, I didn't watch. I was upset. So.
Oh, you were upset?
Yeah.
You don't watch TV when you're upset?
I didn't watch the game.
Oh.
I was upset about the game.
You were
I was upset about football.
You were upset about football. Oh, could this be a spoiler for tomorrow?
Yes.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There is your important stuff for the 7 o'clock hour. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to go to hell. It's next to the X Rocks.
8 stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
Rotten hell, you worthless maggot!
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Hypothetical situation for today's We're Going to Hell story.
Okay.
We're going to play a little game of What Would You Do, Big J. Let's say you're you, and you and your daughter decide to go on just a father-daughter trip to another part of the country. So you know you're going to be on a flight, and you know it's going to be a long one. Let's say you and your daughter decide you're going to visit the lovely country of Manila, right?
Manila? Oh,
So-
God, okay. Love it.
You catch a flight to San Francisco, then your flight from San Francisco is from San Francisco to Manila. You know it's a long one, right?
Yeah.
And so you catch, not technically a red eye, but it's about 11 o'clock flight. But you're like, listen, let's spoil ourselves a little. How about we go to business class? What do you say? And so you and the daughter upgraded to business class, so you're living the life. You know what I mean? These long distance flights, they're a little bit different than most flights in some capacity, but business class, a little bit more opportunity to
Yes.
spread out. You've got the high society stuff a little bit, and you're like, I'm just going to doze off for a little bit. And let's say, Big J, you go ahead and fall asleep, right?
Okay.
Then you get woken up by the sensation of liquid hitting you.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Look over to your right. There you see your sleeping stepdaughter. You look over to your left, and there is a dude standing in the aisle from your neighboring seat that's just straight out urinating all over you.
Oh, my God.
What do you do?
Throw hands, man. What are you doing?
All right, so you're starting to fly
Spit
out
out.
an airplane.
Ugh.
Well, I didn't say it was his face. Hang on. You're jumping to conclusions that weren't necessarily given in the story. It wasn't peeing in his open mouth. I'm saying,
Well, anywhere close.
what do you do? What do you do?
I can't
Do you
what are
instantly
doing,
start?
Man?
So you're going to start a fight with this guy on an airplane? That's going to happen.
No, of course not.
Well, no, listen, you never know. You could be, I mean, listen, that's anywhere else. Yes, let's go. You throw hands for that. I'm just wondering
I
if
would
you're
be
going to be
too shocked. I'd be like, is this really happening right now?
right. And I think that's kind of what happened. But that's this happened to a gentleman named Jerome Gutierrez. He was on a flight with his daughter from San Francisco to Manila, slept in business class, wakes up, neighbor across the aisle is drunkenly urinating on him. So he did the same thing you did. He couldn't believe it, and he pressed the call button like, hey, I got somebody doing something here that's not okay. And he was shocked at the reaction of the cabin crew members. Of course, he basically was told to stay in his seat and not approach the man because the crew was scared that it was going to cause a confrontation which would lead to an emergency landing and the whole situation would become violent and they would throw everybody off their trip to Manila. So they made him stay in his seat. They made the dude stay in his seat for the entire flight. And then once the flight landed in Manila, according to United, they arrested the peeing perp who was not identified. And he has been banned from flying on United permanently. That is his punishment. Do not know what happened to him once he was detained in Manila, but that's what ended up happening. Would you be satisfied with this outcome, Big J? I don't know. I mean, listen, having to sit in another man's pee for God knows how many hours is like maybe his clothes were underneath. I don't know. Like he couldn't change in anything. I don't know how that would go. But that
They
would
didn't offer him anything like a refund or
I am
nothing?
sure they did. It is not in this article. This gentleman is upset about the whole situation and how it was handled and wants to know, I don't know how you handled this situation. What, do you want an emergency landing?
No. I that's the last thing you want. You take one for the whole team.
And just
I
sit in
guess at
somebody
that point-
else's pee for that long, huh?
Yeah, get a towel. Will you get me a towel at least? Something.
I mean, I know they don't have like gowns or anything, but like, some emergency clothes you can.
And then after that, it's people mover time. Let's take this outside.
Well, he's already been detained. So.
Well, I don't care. Let me stun him or something.
You want to Randy Orton him out of nowhere? An
Yeah,
RKO?
out of nowhere, an RKO.
I don't know if he got a free punch, but it would be nice if you were able to, deliver a little bit of street justice before he gets taken away. But what an awful way to wake up. I would say top 5 terrible ways to wake up, right? Getting urinated on?
Yeah, yes,
for sure.
Definitely.
Morning After with
Or
Nick
diarrhea on.
and Big J. That's in the top 5 as well. There is your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X-Rocks. Youth of the Nation here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. People tune into this show for lots of reasons, Big J. Because it's popular and it's cool, of course. There's no doubt about it. We are
cool.
Trendsetters and we have our fingers on the pulse. There's also no doubt about that. But we also, Big J, will talk about any subject. No topic out of bounds. We will have hot takes on everything, and that's why you tune in. And we're going to get into a subject, Big J, that is considered taboo by a lot of people.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
Okay.
We're talking about Big J's religion. No, I'm kidding. We're talking about elderlies behind the wheel. We're both up there in age, my friend. We probably...
Not close to elderly.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about we are now at an age where we probably have encountered or know somebody older than us, be it a parent or a grandparent, that got behind the wheel of a vehicle. And if we were honest with each other, we probably went, is that a good idea? Probably not a great idea for somebody
I've
to be
had
behind the wheel.
I pretty much had to be a part of taking away
Right.
the ride, the old man.
And that's never a comfortable situation to be in. It's like you're taking away somebody's freedom, and they usually are going to put up a fight. It's going to be a terrible conversation, an awkward one, but it's one that maybe has to be talked about on a little more regular basis because they started putting together some statistics, Big J. There are over 48 million licensed drivers in the United States of America that are currently over the age of 65, okay?
It's a lot.
That is a lot of licensed drivers. Now, here's the numbers that we know we have. 17% of people, once you hit the age of 65, are going to have some sort of cognitive impairment. It's just a reality of life. As we get older, our memories get worse, our reaction time gets slower, reflexes dial down. There's some problems that start to happen. We don't start firing at the capacity that we have been for all those years. That's a problem when you're behind the wheel of a car. They also did another independent study and found that 18.2 million of those 48 million, Big J, probably would not pass a current driving exam if given to them with the current rules and up-to-date kind of laws on the road. So now you have almost half of those drivers, Big J, that regardless of cognitive position, probably couldn't get to be their license renewed if they had to take another test. And so we bring up this topic, Big J. Is there a cutoff? Should there be a cutoff? Do you have to hit an age where maybe you have to take a driver test to get back on the road? Is that realistic?
I think we should have to take a knowledge test at least every 4 years to keep our driver's license. I don't think that we're testing and making sure that people are responsible enough on a regular basis, sans being super old. The way you see some people driving out there.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do that you could pass a written test and still drive like an idiot, and also you could pass a driving test and still drive like an idiot.
I think that it might be helpful, but yeah, I think at a certain point, like I don't know, because everybody ages differently and everybody has those cognitive things happen at a different age. So setting it at an age it isn't fair necessarily either, but. Absolutely, there needs to be some sort of cutoff where it's like, hey, listen, 90-year-old lady, I know you're doing pretty well, but it's not well enough.
Yeah, I mean, what would 90 be the cutoff? Would it be 80?
God,
would it be 75? What would it be?
I don't know, man. I think 75 is reasonable.
At 75, you're no longer allowed behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Yeah.
All right.
Get in a Waymo.
Well, they don't have those everywhere.
I know.
But where you're saying I don't even think you can sit in the driver's seat of a Waymo. I don't think they let you pretend to drive.
Probably not.
But it certainly is an interesting sentiment. And now that you see the numbers, it is overtly concerning. You know, you're like, man, there's a lot of people out there that probably shouldn't be out there driving. And it's hard, you know, if you've been in a situation like Big J and you've had to sit down with somebody and have that conversation and take the keys and the vehicle away, you know that's a difficult thing to do, and nobody wants to be in that position.
Yeah.
But at some point, somebody has to do it, and maybe it's if we set a rule, it makes it a little bit easier to have that conversation. They know it's coming. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Give me those keys.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, Dad, give me your truck. Get to the old folks' home, old man.
And yeah, so those aren't necessarily compatible. You don't have to put them in old folks' home the second you take away their car keys. It's just a situation that may depend on who you're talking about. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your elderly driver update, important stuff, and pop culture smackdown on the way on the X.
Here's traffic in.
Is she a legend?
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Way to make alcohol a lot less fun, Surgeon General of the United States of America.
Yeah, boo.
Announced on Friday that maybe it's time to put a warning label on alcohol and beer because there is a clear link between those and cancer, Big J. Not great.
What isn't a link to it?
What?
Cancer.
So far,
nothing.
Big J, as
Everything.
far well, not everything, but all the stuff that's certainly a vice is connected to it outside of gambling so far. But yeah, it's just not. It's not great. They announced some new surveys that linked it pretty clearly, and all that announcement did, Big J, was impact alcohol-related stocks big time. They tanked in the market because of it. And it's not great. Not exactly clear what is going to happen, but according to the report that was released, alcohol is the third leading cause of preventable cancers. and they're calling for warning labels on the spirits. Do you think it's the warning labels that cut down on actual smoking here in the United States, or is it just because there was an alternative introduced into the marketplace that made people think for a second that it might be better for them, but in reality it's just as bad, if not worse?
Yeah,
and we're going to find out down the road.
Yeah, it seemed like the alternative option there.
Right. And so I don't know what the alternative to alcohol would be that would be a quote-unquote healthier option that would definitely destroy us down the road. But it opens up the door for it, Big J. Get in that marketplace and see if you can fill the hole. Okay. But I don't, much like anything else, we don't like to be told what to do. So the second they slap these inevitable warning labels on it, it'll just make us angry about it, I'm sure. But that's what makes us Americans.
Sounds like it made you angry.
No, it doesn't. I mean, they can put all the warning labels they want on it. It's not surprising to me, I suppose. I was under the assumption that when you have alcohol, it's not good for you. This is another thing that didn't surprise me that much.
Right.
I don't think anybody drinks alcohol because it's good for them. Big J, really the only other outlier this morning so far in Black Monday is Doug Peterson definitely gone from the Jacksonville Jaguars. That firing happened this morning. Some of the more surprising stuff maybe has been the shows of confidence. For instance, the Giants are definitely going to keep around Brian Dable for another season, Big J. So he's not going anywhere, which is kind of a surprise to me. But there were some good things about the Giants season. Not the record, certainly, but Neighbors seemed to be a pretty good pickup for them, setting the Giants franchise record, a franchise that's been around forever, the receptions record. Although, again, when you have 4 more games than they played back in the day, it's easier to break those records.
Very easy.
For numbers, anyway, on the season. But we will see if any other kind of things go down. Other than that, the Cincinnati Bengals have fired their defensive coordinator that's been around for 4 years. That's the other big kind of change so far this morning. We will see if others come down the pipe. But we got the wild card playoffs set up for beginning on Saturday. The games are Saturday, Sunday, and Monday this week. Your wild card weekend is set up for the NFL. Enjoy that. And then last night, Big J, the Golden Globe Awards on your television. Former guest in the morning after was hosting it. Did you watch like you said you might, Nikki Glazer?
Yeah, I forgot all about it.
Wonderful. But
how was it?
Apparently, it went just fine, and Nikki was terrific. That's at least the feedback that I had heard. Much unlike the Joe Coy feedback that you got last year. But it was nice to see a movie that you approved for Streaming Dumbass win so many awards last night. It was the night for Amelia Perez. Well, who ended up winning a bunch of awards, 4 overall, and pretty impressive, knocking out things that maybe they thought Wicked would walk away with, but that's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and when I reviewed it, I was like, it's a weird movie, and the subject matter is not maybe everybody's cup of tea, but it was hard to not notice it was really well done.
Yeah, it won Best Musical or Comedy, and then, of course, also won Best Supporting Actress with Zoe Saldana, and a couple other awards as well, including Best Song. And then The Brutalist ended up winning a bunch of the dramatic categories at the Golden Globe.
Brutalist.
So that's going to be the one that maybe has the inside track for the Oscar season, but a lot of people were saying that before the Golden Globes as well. On the TV side, Shogun won the night, won 4 awards, including Best TV Drama, and then Baby Reindeer pulled off some upsets and won some acting nominations and awards, so congratulations. Nice to see Demi Moore win a award for her acting. She won Best Actress in a Comedy for The Substance. Sebastian Stan won for A Different Man for Best Actor in a Comedy, and then Colin Farrell won for The Penguin for Best Actor in a TV Series. Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, who's probably going to win the Oscar as well. So it was a pretty nice little, you get an idea as how the Oscars are going to play out courtesy of the Golden Globe Awards. So if you didn't check it out, it is available on Paramount Plus. You can watch the watch if you want to watch it, Big J, on your own time. But now you know all the awards, so I'm sure it's taking all the fun out of it. Morning After with Nick
Shock and awe.
And Big J, your pop culture smackdown next on the X Rocks.
Pop culture smackdown on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, we have some concert tickets to hook you up with. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, they're phenomenal tribute band to the Chili Peppers, obviously. Going to be here on the 18th of January. It's a Saturday night, friends, there at the Knitting Factory. So we will hook you up with those tickets for free. You just got to battle me in Pop Culture Smackdown. You can do it.
And
And you'll be qualified for $200 in gas for free Gas Friday from Walmart and 100.3 The X Rocks. We'll give that away Friday morning.
Good job, buddy. 208-287-1003.
Pause for effect.
If you would like to play for these tickets and get qualified for Free Gas Friday this Friday, $200 worth of free gas from Walmart in your pocket. But you have to beat Big J first to see if you can do it. Big J, how has it been? Have you been answering any trivia questions or been just basically coming up with your own since I've been gone?
Coming up with my own.
All right, so now you know what it's like on the other side. Let's see if this translates into a victory for you or something resembling that. Hello, the X.
Hey, I'm just calling in to do Pop Culture Smackdown.
Wonderful, man. What's your name?
Josh?
All right, Josh, you're up first. Josh, what famous musicians was once a part of Metallica, then left or got kicked out of Metallica to form Megadeth?
Oh, shit.
No!
We don't.
You cannot swear on the radio.
We have one problem. Maybe it's you. Maybe people like to swear at you.
You cannot swear on the radio. It is not something that is okay. Hello, the X. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, we need to know what famous musician was once a part of Metallica, then left Metallica or got kicked out and formed another band called Megadeth.
Oh, man. Jay Mustaine?
Yeah, there you go. Right. We also would have accepted the S word. Big J. Back in 2005, Saturday Night Live actually stumbled on something that worked for them called the digital short. Yes. The first one that was successful was called Lazy Sunday. What movie were the characters going to see in that song, Lazy Sunday?
Oh, man. Lazy Sunday. They're going to go see a movie.
Yeah. It was all about the movie, as a matter of fact. Evan was in the chorus and everything. They mention it roughly 90 times in the song.
And I completely don't remember. Let's go with The Shining.
No! Wrong. No, it was a new release back in the year 2005. Maybe would that help you?
No.
The Shining, not that.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, then we turn to you, sir. You win no matter what. Do you happen to know what movie that they were going to see in the SNL digital short Lazy Sunday?
Was it Night at the Roxy or something?
No.
Wrong.
No. But a solid guess. You win no matter what. Hang on 1 second. We'll hook you up with those Red Hot Chili Peppers tickets and get you qualified for Free Gas Friday.
Was it an SNL movie?
It was not an SNL movie. It was the Chronic What-Culls of Narnia.
Right.
The Chronicles of Narnia was the movie that was referenced 1.5 billion times in Lazy Sunday for the SNL digital short.
God bless him.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your Pop Culture Smackdown. It's the X Rocks.
Here's traffic inside the TDS Fiber Traffic Center on 100.3 The X.
This traffic report brought to you by Western Heating and Air.
Still no problems at this point of the morning. Eagle Road even looks great north and south. Napa Caldwell Boulevard moving right along. 84 still looking great all the way from Canyon County into downtown Boise. Say goodbye to data caps and contracts. Say hello to incredibly fast, reliable internet that will be there when you want, as much as you want.
Traffic is brought to you by Western Heating and Air. Start the new year fresh with Western Heating and Air. This January, save $150 off duct cleaning and keep your home fresh and healthy. And before you replace your system, get a second opinion on repairs or replacement for free, because a second look can save you big. Don't wait. Call the trusted experts at Western Heating and Air today. That's 208-WESTERN.
They say no two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app with over 16 million subscriptions sold? Well, we thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. She's an artist and absolutely a visual learner. She's doing a deep dive into our Babbel wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is very much a type A, say it to my face type of learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to make sure that accent?
Sur le point.
Keith is sweet. He's a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
Wherever you are, however you learn, Babbel is the best choice to break any language barrier. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Not all products are available in all 50 states. Compounded products are not FDA approved nor verified for safety, efficacy, or quality. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. See website for full details.
Why try Hims for weight loss? If you're interested in personalized prescription options, including Ozempic, Wegovy, oral medications, and compounded GLP-1 injections, and the support to see real results, you might like it. Why try Hims to regrow hair? If a range of treatment options made with clinically proven ingredients like minoxidil and finasteride for thicker, fuller hair in 3 to 6 months sound good, you might like it. Why try Hims for ED? If you've been looking for access to doctor-trusted treatments like Viagra, Cialis, and their more affordable generic counterparts, you and your partner might like it. The Hims process is simple, 100% online, and treatments are shipped free to your door in discreet packaging if prescribed. What's not to like? To save big on weight loss, hair loss, and ED solutions, get started today at Hims.com. That's Hims.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista.
That's the Foo Fighters. That's Best of You here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. It's nice to be back from vacation. Always nice when we have a superstar here in the studio to hang out with us the day I return, and it's always great to see our friend Craig Gass back in the Treasure Valley, who is here for a myriad of reasons. We're going to get into the most important of which here in a few, but welcome back, Craig. How are you, buddy?
This is where it all begins. It begins and ends right here in this studio with you two guys.
That's right.
Man, my voice is getting raspier and raspier as I get older.
Smoking? No, it's because it's an early morning sexy voice that you have when you get up is what it is. But you've been getting up early.
Or smoking.
You don't. I know you don't smoke.
I don't smoke.
But you've been getting up early for, 30 years now? Because that's you dating back to the Stern Show days?
Yeah.
I mean, this is early morning radio, and doing this and talking to whatever goofy morning show you happen to be in town for is one of the things that you are incredibly good at, and we're happy that you picked this goofy show from time to time, so thank you.
Yeah, it's a trip as the years go on and you travel around the world and you do radio in every massive city, tiny city, and the experiences you have there. I remember doing a show in Edmonton where the show ended. It was typical to what happens here. I come in, we hang out, we laugh, then the show ends. I don't leave. We keep laughing, right?
Yeah.
And then, or we go hey, let's get some breakfast, and we get out of here.
Uh-huh.
By the way, I'm at the Egyptian Theater this Saturday, so I should just mention the Egyptian Theater is on Saturday night. And I'm usually funny. And but I remember hanging out with these guys, and we're all laughing, and the program director opens the door, points at one of the guys, and goes, "Hey, buddy, you want to come to my office for a second?" And he goes, yeah. And I looked around and I went, whoa, somebody's getting fired. And then he walks out. And then we're all laughing, hanging out. The door opens again. The guy comes in 20 minutes later and he goes, well, guess that's it.
Yeah?
And he starts picking up his stuff and I go, what? No, come on. And he goes, yep. They just fired me. And he walks out and I go, no way, what? And I felt like such a dick. I was making jokes about you're out of here. Your life sucks.
Bad luck timing, man.
Oh, dude.
It's not your fault.
Have you ever, like, is there a moment, like, you've ever said to a girl, hey, when's your baby due? And then realized, like, the way, like, should I have said that? Like, do you ever mess up on that level? Do you?
No. Not like that.
We try to keep it on the level to protect ourselves from situations like that. But we understand what you mean. It's not good. It's not good.
So you're all better than me. Okay.
No, well, only in that capacity, Craig.
Only in that capacity.
In everything else, you are far superior to us. Craig Gass joins us in studio. He is going to be at the Egyptian Theater, kicking off a huge 2025 this Saturday.
Oh my God!
Debuts the tour, but 2025 is a gigantic year for
Dude,
him.
it's 2 comedy specials. The first one is me just making fun of Kiss for an hour. That's the whole show. Which, by the way, Sebastian Bach makes up about a third of the special. Because and he's not in the special, he's in the audience and he just talks the entire time. Like the majority of the show is just Sebastian Bach is in the audience going, dude, I know, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, I know, dude, I love Kiss so much. Like, oh my God. Gary Dell'Abate has a great story about being at a Mets game where Gary is going to throw out the first pitch at a Mets game. Just so happens Sebastian Bach is also singing the national anthem for the game. Just so happens the Special Olympics are also going to be honored, so they have athletes from the Special Olympics there. And Gary sees Sebastian, they make eye contact, and in front of all the Special Olympics athletes, Sebastian goes, dude, you want to get high? Dude, let's go in the dugout and smoke some weed. It's like, dude, what's wrong with you, man? He's full tilt Sebastian Bach 24/7.
Yeah, there's no other version of that guy, right?
Yeah, I admire that. If I could, if any of us could, we would. But we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves because we're not gifted with great voices where we could just sing great tunes and stuff. We have to take care of ourselves and get out there and support ourselves.
It reminds me of a video. I don't know how old it is, but I saw a video of like Sebastian Bach at like a train convention or something like that, accepting like a model train something, and he's up there swearing left, right, and center, and it's all just a bunch of kids that are like watching this thing.
Model
and
trains?
It's some sort of event he was at that doesn't seem very Sebastian Bachian, but is very much like something that he probably is into in his personal life, and he was just like on Sebastian Bach, and all these kids are like very much not in his audience, but it was very funny to me to see him do that.
I don't know if I ever told you before he put me in his music video that he put me in the music video last year for a song called What Do I Got to Lose? Which actually was really popular. It's got over 1 million views, I think.
Nice.
Right?
Good for you.
On YouTube. And it opens with me doing an impression of Sebastian. Before that, he invited me to his house to do for a birthday party. He's like, dude, I'm having a birthday party. I go to the party, and there's normal people there when I get there. There's a bunch of people there, but there's
normies.
Yeah, there's some normies.
Yeah.
And I'm hanging out with the normies, and we're just and up until about 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then I suddenly realize I'm the only normal guy left. Like, everybody is hammered or cranked. Really, really cranked. And then I have this debate of, do I do the Irish goodbye?
Sure.
Because everyone's wasted. Yeah. Let me just get out of here, man. I feel weird because I don't even drink. I don't drink or like, I've done drugs.
Sure.
I've drank. But I had a heart attack. I had to stop. So I decide, all right, you know what? He invited me to his house. Let me just sneak through this crowd. And I sneak through this crowd of wasted people. And I grab Sebastian. I go, hey, dude, I love you. Happy birthday, man. All right. And he goes, dude, wait a second. You haven't even told us any jokes. And all these cokeheads in the room went, yeah, dude. Yeah, let's do some jokes, dude. Let's go. More some jokes. Let me hear some jokes. And I was like, oh, nah, man. Nah, you don't want to hear. Oh, man. Hey, I'll give you tickets. This was in Los Angeles. I go, dude, just come to the Comedy Store. I'll give you tickets to my show. I'm like, dude. And he goes, come on, man. You haven't even done any impressions. And I go, yeah. And everyone goes, yeah, dude, here's some impressions. I go, nah, let me get out of here. And then you walk out and like, yeah. And that was
how awkward is that, though? I mean, listen, you're known for impressions, obviously. And so people, even if they're not Sebastian Bach or anybody super famous, I mean, that's got to be pretty annoying. It's like, hey, do an impression, man. People say that to you.
When there's moments when it works, and you go, yeah. But then there's moments where it's like, hey, man, you mind doing some impressions? Like, no.
Yeah.
This is a funeral. Like, there's certain social situations where it's not going to work. Did I tell you the Lenny Kravitz story about being in Lenny Kravitz dressing room?
I don't think so.
And trying to. So I am at a Guns N' Roses concert in New York. I get hooked up for the show. I get tickets and backstage passes. And Lenny Kravitz is the opening act. I know what the set list is, and I know they're going to end with Paradise City. I look at my buddy and I go, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, dude. When Paradise City starts, let's beat this traffic because it's 70,000 people."
Right.
So Paradise City, cool. We start running through the backstage area because our car is parked near the backstage area, and we're running out. And I had stacks of my comedy special that I was handing out to people backstage, and I was like, "Hey, dude, put this on your bus. Put this on your bus." And we're running, and then we run right past a door that said Lenny Kravitz dressing room. The door was wide open, and there's a party going on in there. And I looked, and I was like, "Oh man, let me just." And it was everybody in his band. I go, "Excuse me," and the person closest to the door goes, "Hi, how are you?" And I go, "I'm doing. My name's Craig. I'm a stand-up comedian. I do voices on Family Guy and the Howard Stern Show." And they go, "Oh, what? Get over here! Hey, come here!" And I go, "Well, I just wanted to give you copies of my comedy special to put on your bus." He goes, "Wait, do some jokes, do some jokes." And I go, no. He goes, "No, come on, man, do some jokes." And I go, all right. Do you like Tracy Morgan?" And he goes, "I love Tracy Morgan." I go, "All right, I got a funny story about Tracy Morgan." And the guy turns around and goes, "Hey, this guy, shh, hey, quiet. This guy's going to tell some jokes." He did not communicate. This white guy is about to do a Tracy Morgan impression. He just said, "Everybody quiet. This guy's going to tell some jokes." It's a room full of black people. I am a white guy. I start doing a Tracy Morgan impression.
Which is spot on, by the way.
Yeah.
It did not go over. I was like, "This room is making me horny. I'm gonna have some buttholes and toes and whatever." And they all just stared at me. And I go, "Well, here's my comedy special." And the guy placed it on the edge of a table. And next to the table was a garbage can. And I was like, "All right, guys, well, have a great trip." And I run out. And I'm like, he totally took that and just went right into the garbage. Yeah. Like, oh, man. Yeah, I mean, there's moments when you just know. Like, don't you guys get in situations where somebody goes, "Hey, do you know who this guy is? This guy's local radio," and they want you to do something. They want you to perform.
Funny, yeah.
Be funny.
Be funny, yeah.
Be Big J, yeah. Yeah, no, that happens a lot. It's just one of those deals, but probably more for you just because you do so many different impressions and you run into a bunch of people that know you from that different stuff or from Family Guy or Sex and the City or whatever the case may be. So I'm sure it's much more annoying to you. For sure.
I have so many stories I want to share with you guys, and I cannot wait to tell some of these stories on stage at the Egyptian. I have one specific story that is the greatest story ever, and it took place in Boise, and it is so horrifying. And all the people involved, it's so horrifying, and I'm just labeling it as the greatest Boise story ever.
All right.
Ooh. And by the way, I've been educated. It's not Boise.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Boise.
Yes.
Boise.
Saturday night, Egyptian Theater. Get your tickets at getgas.com or the Egyptian Theater website. There is also a link on xrock.com. We want to make sure you check this out. But Craig is one of the funniest people alive, and he'll be at the Egyptian on Saturday. More with Craig coming up next on the X-Rock. Crown on the morning after with Nick and Big J. We are joined in studio this morning with our friend Craig Gass, stand-up comedian, going to be at the Egyptian Theater on Saturday. You can grab your tickets at getgas with 2 S's.com, xrock.com, egyptiantheater.com has your tickets to go on Saturday. We highly recommend that you do as he kicks off his 2025 tour here in Boise. And Craig, I know we're going to talk about a couple of things over the next couple of days. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, because maybe you don't get enough credit for this, is, one of the things that happened last night, the Golden Globe Awards. Nikki Glaser, great comedian, hosting it. one of the things that's hard is doing jokes to people that are in the room. And you are a member of many roasts. You've done a lot of things, Corey Taylor, etc. over the years. Is it hard to tear apart somebody if you're not friends with them in their same room? Or is it easier when you aren't friends with them to be in a roast type of setting?
I think it's exhilarating when it doesn't go well. I don't know why. It's just super and when comedians get together and talk about, hey, where you been? How's life going? Like, we never, ever talk about killing. We never oh, man, dude, I was in Chicago. I murdered it.
Yeah.
Like, it's always, the conversation between comedians is always, don't go to Tampa. Jesus, what is wrong with those people? Like, it's always bad moments that we thrive on. And it's just something, because you have them from time to time. You have these moments that are so bad that you're like, what's going on? And it makes you a better person. It makes you a better comedian and we all have bad shows.
Sure.
Dane Cook had one of the greatest bombs ever that I've ever seen. When we all first got to New York, a bunch of comedians all converged on New York in the late 90s, who all became huge. And we all started performing at this place called the Boston Comedy Club. It was in New York, but it was called the Boston Comedy Club because the guy who owned it was from Boston. And Dane Cook did a set one night on a Tuesday night in front of 6 people at 1:30 in the morning. And I should point out, one of the 6 audience members had all of his groceries on the table with him because we had a doorman named Bert Kreischer. And Bert's a super famous comedian now.
Never heard of him.
And Bert would stand in front of the club and bark at people and go, hey, comedy show. You want to see a comedy show? You want to see a comedy show? And somebody walked by and said, I got my groceries. He goes, I don't care. Give me the groceries. It's okay. Give me I'll help you with the groceries. Give me the groceries. I'll get you.
It's a really good Bert, too, by the way.
Dane's on stage, and he sees Bert in the crowd, like putting all the groceries on the table. And Bert gives him a thumbs up, like, yeah, man, we got one more. Like, we're going from 5 to 6. And Dane goes, are those your groceries? And the guy looks at him and goes, yeah, and I've got ice cream. Like that was Dane Cook's fault. And he was like, what the? So Dane is trying to muscle his way through this set. It's not going well. It's 1:30 in the morning. These people are exhausted. And then one of the 6 audience members, who is hammered, gets up, starts stumbling over to the restroom, which is in the corner of the room, closes the door, and starts violently vomiting in the bathroom to where the other 5 audience members can't pay attention because in the corner of the room, every 30 seconds, you keep hearing. And then there's a long pause. They all hear. And the guy comes back out and Dane Cook goes, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you feeling all right? And this dude sat down, looked at Dane and said, oh, yeah, I just, I had some bad comedy. Oh, everybody starts high-fiving each other, and the guy with the groceries is like, and just sprinkles flying everywhere. And, yeah, those are the moments. I did a show once at the House of Blues in Las Vegas, opening for Norm Macdonald. Guy walks up to me on the side of the stage right before we start, and he goes, are you Craig? And I go, yeah. And he goes, hey, my name's Dave. I'm hosting. What do you want me to say about you? And I go, just say Howard Stern and Family Guy. And he goes, okay, cool. I'm nervous. And I go, yeah, it's a big crowd. It's 1,800 people. It's sold out. Nice. And he goes, yeah, it's my first time. And I go, first time in front of a big crowd? And he goes, no, it's my first time doing stand-up. And I go, you've never done stand-up before? And he goes, no, this is, and I go, how did you end up on this show? And he goes, I work here at the House of Blues. I'm a bartender. I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy, and it's been a dream of mine. And we actually get the schedules like 9 months in advance, so we know like a few months before the public does. And Norm Macdonald's my all-time favorite comedian, so when his name came on the schedule, I started campaigning.
Oh,
I want to open the show. And a bunch of people who work here, like bartenders and staff here, they all took the night off and they bought tickets and they're in the crowd. They're going to support me. And I said, but you didn't go to like any open mics. You haven't rehearsed your material. And he goes, no, this is it. This is all right here. And I went, all right, man, good luck. That dude ate it. That's the hardest eating of your own genitals I've ever seen in my life. He started doing this thing where he physically would lean into the punchline and go, like, ta-da, like, and the crowd was like, what? So he's revealing, oh, you're supposed to laugh here, and nobody laughed. At 2 minutes, his pits start to, you can see the sweat forming in his pits.
2 minutes, that's an eternity.
Oh, and he's stammering. And at one point, he's a joke failed. The punchline didn't land, and he goes, maybe you had to be there. And a guy all the way up at the top of the upper balcony goes, maybe you're not funny. And the whole crowd, and that's the first laugh of the night, is the heckler. And I didn't even realize he was standing behind me. Norm Macdonald goes, man, I feel bad for this guy. Yeah. Hey, don't make fun of him. You know, don't make fun of this guy. I feel bad for him. And I was like, all right, that's a terrible Norm Macdonald, by the way. And the guy goes, all right, are you guys ready for your next comedian? Yeah, all right. You know him from Howard Stern and Family Guy. Please welcome Craig Gass. And I walked out on stage and I grabbed the mic. I go, all right. And I looked at the crowd and just went, and that's it. I didn't make fun of him. I didn't do any jokes. I had to acknowledge, because, dude, when you go on stage after a massive killing or a massive bomb, you have to acknowledge and go, all right, I saw that too. Or worse, after a famous guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like Chappelle. I told you about following Chris Rock recently, right?
Yes, you did.
And sorry for repeating this,
No,
but
it's
I
fine.
did. I went to the Comedy Store. I'm scheduled at 11:30. I get there at 11. Chris Rock is on stage, and one of the managers goes, "Hey, so Chris Rock, he might do 5 minutes. He might do an hour and a half. We don't know. But he said when he's done, he's going to say, all right, that's it for me. Please welcome Craig Gass." And I went, oh my God, that's the worst ending to a Chris Rock show I've ever heard. That's like walking into a small rock club and saying, and the band going, all right, we have some special guests. Please welcome the Rolling Stones. And the Rolling Stones show up, and Mick Jagger's doing Start Me Up, and Keith Richards is doing Heroin right in front of you. And then Mick Jagger goes, all right, you want some more? Yeah, all right, please welcome Corey Feldman. What? No, I'm Corey Feldman in that story. Which, by the way, I have to point out, when I'm telling all these bombing stories, after all these years of coming here to Boise, and all these years of doing the Funny Bone, doing bars, the lounge, the end of the universe, and then finally making it to the Egyptian Theater this Saturday, wouldn't it be hilarious if I ended up bombing?
No, there's no
I think
way.
it'd be great, Craig.
It'd be great too.
I want to be there to witness it.
It would be amazing to bomb at the, especially with my girlfriend. My girlfriend lives here. Half of this town has been tattooed by my girlfriend over at Chalice Studios. But, which, by the way, I say this every time I come in. I met my girlfriend here at this station. Greatest contest ever.
You always say that, and it's not true. You're not giving away Darcy as part of this contest.
Gave me Darcy.
No.
I was caller number 7.
No.
And you guys let me walk away with a local resident to take with me. And that was the nicest. That's like, you know.
It's our favorite thing as well. We really do enjoy that your relationship started on this show as just a chance to kind of get together. But very happy because you're celebrating, what, 3 years, 4 years?
You know what's funny? I don't know if I should say this, but Saturday is January 11th. I'm performing January 11th at the Egyptian Theater. And it also happens to be a very important anniversary for Darcy and I. That we referred to January 11th as P in the V.
That's right. That's right.
What does that mean?
Don't.
P
What are
in
you
the V.
doing?
P in the V.
Yes, we know what it means.
It's the first time that P in the V. P went in the V. And so to commemorate that, I'm going to pee in the V right on stage.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's illegal here, but that's really awesome. Yeah. Good for you.
I've actually seen that. And you guys ever go to Amsterdam?
No. Well, he's been to Amsterdam and saw those sex shows.
You see the live sex show?
Oh, man, you bet. No, I did not go to that.
Oh. Did I tell you about my live sex show experience?
Yeah.
Craig, hang on. We have to take a break.
Oh, we're going to take a break.
Tell us about the live sex show experience. Keep it as clean as you can. I know you're a vet. Yeah. You can take care of it.
All right. So you want me to tell it right now?
No. We'll come back.
We'll come back.
We'll make him come back for the live sex show.
Egyptian Theater, P P in the V.
V.
Live on stage, P in the V, EgyptianTheater.net. Is it the Egyptian Theater?
It is the Egyptian
The
Theater.
Egyptian
The
Theater.
only one that
with
matters.
an R-E, by the way.
Yeah.
The Egyptian Theater with an R-E. Or go to my website, getgas.com. Getgas with 2 S's.
Saturday is when the show is. It's going to be awesome. We'll have more from Craig next to the X-Rock. 46 and 2 here on the morning after with Nick and Big J. Joined this morning by our friend Craig Gass, who's going to be at the Egyptian Theater on Saturday. It's going to be awesome. Grab your tickets now at xrock.com, getgas.com, or the Egyptian Theater website so that you can go and check out Craig as he kicks off his 2025 tour here in the Treasure Valley. And we promised them a live sex show story, Craig, so we have to deliver.
Yeah.
I feel bad because you already know the live sex show story.
Yes, but there's a young 10-year-old around his radio that hasn't heard the live sex show story that you got to make sure you got to make him happy.
Yeah.
All right, kids, gather around. I did a show in Amsterdam. The owner of the club in Amsterdam, there's a big English-speaking comedy club in Amsterdam called Boom Chicago. The owner of the club told all the comedians before the show, hey, I don't know if you guys are into this, but I just want to give you a heads up. We have a great relationship with this show around the corner from here, and it's a live sex show. Amsterdam is famous for many things, including live sex shows. And if you want, we always put our comedians on their guest list, and it's up to you if you want to go and see a live sex show. They are considered the #1 live sex show in Amsterdam.
Only the best.
And I was like, yeah, I'll totally want to check that out. And so he put me on the list. We do the show, and afterwards, I start making my way over through the red light district. In the middle of the red light district, on the way to the live sex show, is, and anyone who's been through this red light district knows, they can confirm, there's a Ben and Jerry's right in the middle of the red light district, and they make their own waffle cones. Oh,
delicious.
The smell that comes out into the streets is so attractive. And I walk in, I order, I always do a thing where I pretend like I have a girlfriend, and I go, hey, can I get 2 scoops chocolate chip cookie dough, please? And let me see where, I don't know where she's at. You know what? She loves rainbow sprinkles. If you can just put rainbow sprinkles, please. Can you put more? She likes a lot of rainbow sprinkles, and just, yeah, I don't know where she is. And then I'll grab the cone, and I'll commit all the way to the exit. I'll walk out and go, honey! And then once I get past the ice cream shop, I just start licking.
Yeah, that's your ice
so,
cream.
Work my way over to the live sex show, and when I get in there, my name's on the guest list. I walk in, and there are people having sex on stage. It's the craziest thing, dude. You walk in, there's a guy and a girl, boom, they're doing it. And I was like, this is insane. I couldn't believe I was watching this. And it really felt like a den of sin. There's pot smoke in the air.
Ooh.
I saw people doing cocaine.
Oh, my goodness.
I saw people doing coke, and they're drinking. And I was like, oh, my God. And then I'm just licking my ice cream cone watching this. And I just start
creepy. First of all, that's so creepy. All right.
That's what stopped the room. Everyone in the room starts slowly turning like, and then I'm like in the middle watching. I'm trying to get closer to the stage and licking my ice cream cone, and everyone in the room's like, who brought the creep with the ice cream cone?
Such a great story.
Totally sober. And
God.
yeah, Mr. Ice Cream Cone Guy.
It is a wonderful, amazing story. You'll hear more of these if you go Saturday. Well, goodness gracious, Craig. We have performance issues.
I'm so not a professional here.
Over there, Saturday at the Egyptian Theater.
Disagree.
Check him out. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Dude.
And we don't have a chance to talk about it, but impressions, it's what you're most famous for.
That's what...
You always come in here and we never talk about your impressions.
I know. All right, listen.
Or the fact that you've taught me how to do some impressions.
What is the
Mark
one
Wahlberg.
impression I've taught you that really sticks and still holds up today?
Mark Wahlberg.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can teach anybody how to do it. Just heavy breathing. But the other part is you gotta say a few words at a time, and that you gotta say them really lightly and distressful. Because for some reason, Mark Wahlberg's always stressed out in every movie he's in.
Yeah.
Guys, are you serious? There's a car accident outside. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's all
really
impression.
bingo.
That's
Every
all
time.
impression.
He does use it whenever we have to have Mark Wahlberg come up on this show. So we do thank you for
I feel
your
confident
wisdom.
when I do it too.
Yeah.
When you come out to the Egyptian Theater on Saturday, I'm going to teach you all how to do impressions. It's going to be easy. You're going to walk out learning how to do impressions. I'll probably have some slices of pizza with me.
All right.
I'll give you some. We're going to stock up on Grimaldi's. I love Grimaldi's.
That was the place. We were talking because last time you came in, you recommended, and I was like, the hell was the name of the place that Craig said had amazing pizza? I could not remember. And I almost texted you, and then I forgot.
That is not a throwaway endorsement either. I am from New York. People from New York are pizza snobs. And and this is so in the weeds, but there were two kids in the late 1800s who worked at the first ever pizza place in New York that was called Lombardi's. And it was a coal oven pizza place. That's the first ever pizza place in New York, was called Lombardi's. These two kids opened up their own pizza places. One was a guy named John Sasso, who has the best pizza place in New York, just called John's Pizza. And the other guy was named Anthony Grimaldi. And Grimaldi's became a chain. And I was blown away when I saw that you guys actually opened up a Grimaldi's here in Meridian.
It's been here for years now.
Yeah, that place is amazing.
I have to go. I have not gone. And I just,
with the program.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go this week. I'm going to Grimaldi's this week.
Also in Boise, I was shocked that the pizza cone is an amazing
You
thing.
loved Cone. You
Love
loved Cone.
And last weekend, went to the Regal, the new
the 21.
The Regal 21 has
The
IMAX.
Spectrum, right?
The Spectrum. Yeah. Dude, they remodeled the theater. Like they're redoing the whole I guess the theater's been around for a while.
Yes.
A long time.
Yeah.
Dude, they put in leather seats, like reclining seats. And when you walk in the theater, as the seats get closer to the screen, they tilt back further and further.
Oh, fancy.
So you can like tilt all the way back at Regal now and just have if you are in the front row, it is actually an amazing experience. Went there to see Nosferatu last weekend.
And that movie is Craig Grass approved. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not a horror movie guy. I wouldn't even describe it as a horror movie, but good Lord, is that movie dark.
Yeah.
Super, super dark. By the way, you were talking about at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
How did Nikki do?
She did great, according to everybody that was posting about it. I mean, she had a tough gig coming off of Joe Coy's kind of bombing last year, but apparently everybody thought she did a fantastic job.
She opened with an Ozempic.
Did she really?
Yeah, on the crowd. It's great.
I saw Ricky Gervais had posted about thinking about the Golden Globes and what I would say this year. And I think that Ricky Gervais just has I like being a naughty boy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really, when you say, I shouldn't say this, because it's too outrageous, I think that's not really.
But I got to think, though, that Nikki got this gig because of the Tom Brady roast.
Mm-hmm.
Like the success she had with that.
Absolutely.
And I feel like after the Golden Globes, boom, skyrocket to the top.
She's great.
Right
though.
for her?
Nikki's great.
Yeah, she's a great roast writer. Roasts are so scary. My favorite roast joke, did I ever tell you my favorite roast joke was Greg Giraldo about Ralphie May? Did I tell you that joke?
Mm-hmm.
He said, Ralphie, you're such a mess. Ralphie May was a morbidly obese comedian who passed away like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he said, Ralphie, you're such a mess. When you watch porn, you actually shoot it to the pizza delivery guy when he shows up. And I was like, oh my God, that is such a great line. But yeah, dude, roasts are tough. So I'm all over the place. Egyptian Theater.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Please get tickets. And just a personal thing that bothers me. I'm looking at the seating map, and people are buying second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up to the 10th row. There's 4 seats, front row center, that are sitting there, and that annoys me.
All right.
I am not going to make fun of you. Get the tickets in the front row, okay? I'm not going to make fun of you. Just get the tickets in the front row.
As a matter of fact, he knows where those seats are. He'll probably thank you for coming and listening to his plea on the radio.
Yeah, just get those seats in the front row. There's 4 of them still sitting there, front row center. I mean, the rest of the row is empty, but and again, people are getting tickets all the way back in the 10th row, 11th row, but they left 4 seats in the front row center. That bothers me.
Fill up the front so that when Craig looks into the audience, he sees your beautiful faces. Saturday night's going to be a lot of fun. You want to hang around for one more?
Yes,
all
please.
Right. We'll hang around with Craig Gass and more of him coming up next on the X
Sex Stories.
Latest Boys from Seether, that is Walls Come Down on the morning after with Nick and Big J. Wrapping up the show, but not before we wrap up our conversation with our friend Craig Gass, who joins us in studio. Going to be in, we just set this up, you're going to be in a couple of times this week as we get ready for Saturday's show at the Egyptian Theater. He's kicking off his big 2025 tour here in town. It's a show that's very special to him, a date that's very special to him, and we would like you to join us on Saturday at the Egyptian Theater. I think I'm definitely going, Jay. You're going to head out to the theater. Man. It's going to be a great show. We love it when Craig comes to town and love it when he comes into the studio. And Craig, we were talking, we talked a little bit about the impressions, but we didn't get into all of the ones that you do. Tracy Morgan is amazing. Adam Sandler's great.
Tracy Morgan actually knows there's a comedian named Craig Gass who does an impression of him.
Love it.
And he also knows me. And he thinks that they are two separate people. I saw someone say to him, and I'm standing right there, and they go, Craig Gass? And he meant like, hey, this guy next to you, Craig Gass? And Tracy goes, yeah, that dude does an impression of me. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, yeah, he making a living, right? He making a living. And then he looks at me and he goes, what's up, man? And then he just sit. I was like, oh my God, he has no idea. And that dude, I've had so many run-ins with him over the years, and he just doesn't. One of the smoothest, I was in Seattle, and I found out that Tracy Morgan was in town. I just came in to start promoting my shows. And I was like, oh my God. And I texted his opening act, and he goes, dude, come on over. So I come on over, and Tracy's on stage when I get there, and I watch his whole show, sitting on the side of the stage. And then Tracy gets off stage, and his opening act goes, yo, Tracy, look who's here, man. It's Craig Gass. And he just walked right by me, and he goes, Craig, you know why my hands are so smooth? I go, what's that? And he goes, you know why my hands are so smooth? And I go, I don't know why. And he goes, because they're always counting money and rubbing girls' booties. And he just walked out the door. And I was like, what? Good to see you. But yes, very Tracy Morgan, Adam Sandler, Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Gene Simmons, who does not like my impression of him, which is why I'm putting out that comedy special. I'm putting out 2 comedy specials. The first one is me making fun of Kiss for an hour. The other one is more of a traditional one, but the one about Kiss is coming out soon. And then 2 podcasts, one of which is with Chris Kale from Five Finger Death Punch. Beardo and Weirdo.
I love it. Do we have a date when it's dropping? Do you know when it's going to go
2
live?
weeks.
2 weeks from today?
2 weeks,
All
and
right.
it's going live on Loudwire. Loudwire's YouTube page.
Very nice. So there's going to be a video version of it as well, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going all in. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And then, so subscribe to that when it comes out. Are you dropping episodes Mondays? Is that how it's going to work? Or
My storytelling one is on Mondays. We don't have a committed date for when we're going to drop the Beardo and Weirdo. We already have 8 episodes in, and we're just going to just drop a bunch of them and then start doing them weekly. And but yeah, Boise is my first. This is the launch, is here at the Egyptian Theater on Saturday. So if you're a fan of Family Guy, any of the shows I've been on, King of Queens, Sex and the City, Howard Stern, you're going to love this show. So
it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And we are excited that it's going to be happening again. You can grab your tickets at getgas.com, xrock.com, the Egyptian Theater website. And of course, we talked about 2025 being a huge year, but you're also doing tours. You're not stopping traveling the country doing what you do. It's what you've done forever, and that's going to continue all this year as well, I imagine, huh?
It's going to be bigger. Again, Egyptian Theater is, I've been here over the years. I've done bars here in Boise. Then I ended up doing the Funny Bone way back in the day, then started doing the Lounge at the end of the universe. So to get to the Egyptian is a big deal because I've been in town and watched friends perform. Because again, my girlfriend lives here.
Yeah.
So Darcy's here. So I've seen Jim Norton perform there. I watched Steve-O at that place, and Steve-O's like, hey, you got to come up on stage with me. And he had me, not only did he have me open the show, Steve-O cut me a check for doing 10 minutes on his show. And I was like,
damn, that's awesome.
That is super,
He's a good dude.
super generous.
For sure.
Yeah, I've known Steve-O's, dude, you want to see something intense. There's a picture on my Instagram page of Steve-O. We did the roast of Gene Simmons. Do you remember this story?
I do remember this story, yes.
Steve-O got thrown out of the roast, and nobody explained why Steve-O got thrown out. And the reason is because what Steve-O did to get thrown out of the roast happened during a break in filming, but it literally happened right next to me. I opened up my camera phone, I turned around, and I took a picture. There's a picture on my Instagram at Craig Gass Comedy with 2 S's of Steve-O from Jackass relieving himself on Danny Bonaducci. It's the coolest picture you'll ever see. At Craig Gass Comedy. Craig Gass Comedy with 2 S's.
And that's the only reason why I know that story is because I'm on your Instagram. So yeah, it's it's there's and by the way, we'll talk about this on Wednesday because one of the things I want to get into is how every time I check out your social media, you are at whatever the biggest sporting event of the weekend is, regardless of where it is in the country. You're a huge sports fan, a huge Seattle fan, all things Seattle, but you'll go anywhere and do anything as long as
Super Bowl.
Yeah. You'll do all that stuff.
Dude, I'm hoping it's going to work out. The last Super Bowl, I did it with Carrot Top and Bert Kreischer. And you can see the interviews on there. It's the Chiefs and the 49ers. And this year, I'm hoping to do the interviews of whoever's playing in the Super Bowl with a guy named Steve Gleason. Steve Gleason used to play for the New Orleans Saints. He has ALS, and he communicates through a computer using his eyes to put words together. One of the funniest dudes I've ever met in my life. And I'm hoping that he'll do the interviews with me. That dude is super. I remember one of the first times I met him, it was backstage at I met him through a friend of mine who plays, it's terrible name dropping. A friend of mine who plays guitar for Pearl Jam introduced me to Steve Gleason.
Right.
Steve Gleason is a huge Pearl Jam fan. I remember being backstage at a Pearl Jam concert, and Steve, through his computer, said, "Hey, Craig, can you entertain my friends?" And I walked up and I go, "Hey, what's up? I'm Craig." And I'm saying hello to all his friends. And I start doing impressions for them. And Steve goes, "Craig's whole family is deaf." And I go, "Yeah, that's true." Because his friends were asking, "How'd you get so good at voices?" And he said, "Craig probably learned how to talk by watching TV." And I said, "That's true. Oh my God, Steve, that's actually incredibly insightful." Yeah, what Steve is saying is true. Because I couldn't learn how to talk to my family, I learned how to talk by watching TV. And he goes, "My kids will probably end up sounding like robots." And I was like, "Oh my God." Yeah. And I remember her saying, "Dude, you're so funny. Can I give you a hug?" And he takes his time. "Sure." And I go to hug him, and he said, "But I prefer BJ's." And I was like, "Oh my God."
Fast friends.
Like, yeah. So I'm hoping Steve Gleason will do the interviews with me at the Super Bowl. But yeah, dude, there's so many stories.
I know,
and
dude.
all I'm doing is repeating old stories.
No.
So I'll come in with some fresh stories later this week.
I will too.
Save it for the show.
Thank you.
And Saturday night is where it's all going down. The Egyptian Theater. Get your tickets, getgas.com, the Egyptian Theater website, xrock.com. We will have more Craig on Wednesday. Always good to see you, brother. Thank you
Dude,
for
the
coming
tickets
in.
are already starting to move. Thank you
Love
for
it.
buying these tickets. I'll see you at the Egyptian Theater. Get your tickets now if you want good seats at the Egyptian Theater. Getgas.com or theegyptiantheater.net.
And Craig will be back in here on Wednesday and Friday of this week. We'll have more fun stories as we continue, and we will see you tomorrow. You guys have a good one. It's the X Rocks.
Hi, this is